the tower. Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
everybody, welcome to today's stream. I'm just toning it down a bit. Had a bit of a microphone issue there, that's why we're a bit delayed. Welcome to Paris, Orly, Union Airways 737 MAX 8. Today we're going to Manchester. We're running behind schedule, but we should be okay. Expected time of departure is in 10 minutes. Okay, we're a bit behind schedule, it's another statement, but we'll get moving. So our block schedule time is around about an hour 40. We should schedule to arrive at 1:20. We'll probably get back to Manchester before then. We'll see what time we can make up. We'll put this as a slot delay. Anyways, let's head into the flight deck. Wonderful. I'm just gonna turn down the music a bit. Get the sim sounds turned up, and then we'll be off on our way. Get Qual turned up and get the actual sim turned up a bit as well. You guys can hear it. Yeah, we can hear sim. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to head upstairs, start our usual procedure for the 737. Batteries on. We have no GPU connected. Let's connect you up. I'll actually turn the sounds up a bit more on the sim. Just bear with me. Or is it my headset? Might be a bit quiet. It's my headset's quiet, that's all. Yep, we've got electric. We're gonna connect our ground power. Sorry, extend emergency lights. There we go. We're gonna turn our panel light in. Dome lights too bright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Green lights on the landing gears. Wonderful. Right. Do a fault fire test, and then we'll sort out everything else. So, what it's going to do is going to do our squibs first. Yep. Squibs work. Fault fire test or fault test. So our fault APU detector in-op master caution light is on. Overheat detects is on as well. We're going to do the same for a fire. So wheelbar, engine 1, engine 2 overheat. Master caution fire warning light on, overheat detects is on as well. Wonderful. Wait for this to show up now. And move forwards here, check the manual gear. Manual extension is all in place, and make sure I close that. Circuit breakers are in place. Check the documentation of the aircraft. Right, wonderful. I'm going to open up the flight deck door as well, as you would in real life, and we're going to line up our IRSs. So nav, wonderful. Logo lights can come on. Position lights to steady. Beautiful. Seatbelt signs off because we've got no fuel. Magic barrel ref key, switch it over to hexapascals. We're going to punch in now. Actually, we'll get boarding started. The players won't be too happy. Yeah, we're taking a Man City team back to Manchester. Now, they deserve to walk after the last game that I just watched, but we'll get more into that later on into the flight. Auto brake to RTO, positioning it, and let me just turn GSX down a bit. Oh yeah, it seems as well that what's happened with GSX is that the gates here don't work, so I need to just reconfigure this airport. Lima Foxtrot, Papa Oscar. We are at gate Delta 4. Not in the database. Okay, we'll do this. We'll clear. And we'll just whack you in there. Route Lima Foxtrot, Papa Oscar to Echo Golf Charlie Charlie. Request a flight plan. While we're doing that, we'll set the MFRA. So the field elevation at Orly is 291. So we'll set that to 1291, 1,000 feet above the ground. 1, 2. 2.91. Wonderful. We're going to get refueling done as well. And for our fuel today, we're going to carry roughly 5.3 tons of fuel. I'm going to get some music on for you as well. Let's turn it up a little bit, so this is a bit faint. So 5.3, so we're going to go roughly 2.65 in each tank. 2.65 here, 2.65 here. Get you refueled up. Initialize the flight. We'll get the performance on us. We'll get the payload on as well. Where is it? Weight and balance. Today we're carrying a whopping 40 passengers and 798 kilos of cargo. Uh, 798. There we go, wonderful. Route uplink is ready, so we're going to activate, execute that. Punch in our departure. Departure today is the Atrex 2 Romeo from runway 25. I'll bring up the charts later on. Oh, that loads up. So, yeah, we're going under Union 9 Man City, UNX 9 Mike Charlie India, taking runway 25, and we're taking the Atrex 2 Romeo, or is it 2 X-ray? 2 Romeo. And our arrival into Manchester is the standard, I think it's the Elvos 1 mic, yeah, the Elvos 1 mic arrival. This is like the standard arrival into Manchester. Right, I know runway 23 right is in use, but do I do things a bit differently and go for the for a different approach? I might go for the we'll say the ILS is out of use, and you know what? Do I take the RNAV 23 left, or do I take the VOR DME 23 left? I'll take the RNAV. Take the RNAV. We'll say 23 right is being serviced, which is more likely to happen at night time. We'll take the RNAV. I know Navigraph's telling me off saying it's not used, but we'll just do things a bit differently today. Love a non-precision approach. So yeah, we're going to go for the RNAV 23 left, and we're going to go via the OSNAP transition. Wonderful. Activate, execute you. Just go through our legs, make sure there's no discontinuities, which I guarantee there will be one after Dane. Yep, there we go. Wonderful. Well, that's refueling. We've got our cruising altitude already set. Our cruise winds today are 269er at 39er. Our ISA deviation is +1. Zero fuel weight is 49.4. There's 49.5 here, that's fine. And our reserves, our alternate is Birmingham, which gives us less than, the minimum reserve. So we're going to go with minimum reserve 1.8 tons. Hopefully we can arrive. Yeah, we'll land. 0.7. It's telling us off. That's because we've not got. Why would I put in my gross weight? My gross weight is bound to change. Let me just set my fuel to the correct amount, which is 5.3 tons. We'll set that. We'll plan that. And we should land with 3 tons of fuel. That's much better, right? For the time being, we've got everyone on board. Bank angle can be as it is. We're going to take 2-3. So I'm just going to pull up. I'm just going to show you the charts now. There we go. There's our Navigraph charts just showing for you. So we're just currently stood here at gate Delta 4. and we're going to take runway 25. Now the question is, do I take full length? Do we have to take full length? Let me check. I'll just pin you as well. So we're taking 25. So we can take Whiskey 32 or even Whiskey 33, which is here. Now I reckon we can take Whiskey 33 due to the fact we're in a very lightly loaded 737 MAX. With all the players in economy class, they don't deserve business class. I'm going to keep throwing shade at them. I'm heartbroken. But yeah, no, they deserve their rest as well. So yeah, I factored in as well media. So they only took about 23 players, but I factored in media, coaching staff. So yeah, about 40. 40 is about enough. Oh yeah, let's go through our stops. So our SID stop altitude for us, a SID is flight level 100. Well, actually, initial climb clearance is flight level 080. So we're gonna set 080 here. While we're still refueling, that's fine. I'm going to turn on my electronic hydraulic pumps. This is usually carrier specific how you do this, and we'll turn on window heats. And actually, as a matter of fact, we'll get our Mach airspeed warning test and a stall warning test. And for how long do we have until our IRS aligns? 1 minute, wonderful. We refueled? Yep, looks like we have. And we'll get the fuel pumps on. I just want you to listen to the difference. This is the fuel pumps off, this is with the electronic pumps on. Now we're going to switch the fuel pumps on. And see me as a magazine. Oh. So again, I complimented Boris on the sound quality last time I flew this aircraft on stream, and then literally like I think the same day, like an hour after that stream, less than that, I saw the trailer for the 737. Well, not the trailer, but I saw someone like videoed the 800 with the Boris sounds. I'm like, no way he's doing that, not on the day after. So yeah, definitely going to pick them up. I think Boris is a very, very talented sound designer. Okay, wonderful. I didn't even set my runway heading, which is 253. Why would I go that way when 253 is headed this way? Wonderful. We've got everything else done. We'll just quickly punch it. So 54.7 is our gross weight. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up my shot window. So 54.7 is my gross weight, right? So I'm just going to quickly grab my V-speeds from Simri. Let me just turn traffic and both of them, even though I've got no live traffic on. 54.7 is my gross weight. Simbrief has me at 54.5. I'm just gonna play it safe. 54.7. So I'm gonna initially wet runway. It was raining all day in Paris. If you watched the match, it was raining. So yeah, wet runway. So we'll try and take intersection Whiskey 33. I know it's a bit quick, but we'll take Whiskey 33. So that gives us 2120 meters. I'm just quickly doing some calculation. 2120. So yeah, we're taking Whiskey 33 then. So this is our M on limit. So 5, take off 254. So 54. 53. There we go. Now I'm going to quickly check as well. Let me just bring up my charts. If there's any noise abatement procedures, we are 3 minutes late, by the way, but we'll be okay due to the. As a matter of fact, before I even get started, let me just get my APU turned on. Okay. Anyways, while we're doing that, I'm going to check for any noise abatement procedures. So I'm going to head over to noise abatement, and preferred runway for takeoffs is actually runway 24. We're taking 25, probably due to noise, whatever. Noise abatement continued. Departing flyers. And that's fine. Anything about NADP's departure? Okay, so we're doing an NADP 1. So if you can read here, it says, V2 plus 10 up to 3000. So takeoff power setting up to 1500. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So we're going to, okay, we maintain takeoff power setting up to 1500. And yeah, we'll accelerate at 3000. So it's a standard NADP. Standard NADP 1 departure. But what? Yeah, we'll leave it like that. So flaps 5. Center of gravity, trim will automatically set. Now this has got 25, 25 and 35. Let me make sure you're closed. And we've got 24, 24, 33. Starts within a knot, that's fine. And this one isn't, so we need to set 133. So 133. Alright, we can turn on our AP generators. And turn on our yaw damper. And it does look like everything's good. Flight directors can come on, and LNAV can be armed. Auto brake is set to RTO. It does look like we are ready for push and start. I'm going to give us a squawk code. What squawk code can I have? 2023, the year that City won the treble. Wish I could go back to them days. Oh boy. Okay. Just open up my charts now for you, and let's see. If we do have to return to the airport, we'll use runway 24, 10.9 and 241. So we're going to set 241 here. It's 241. 241 on this side. And 10.9. So ILS, how close is that? 109 now. We're using 110.9. And 110. And so in the event that we do need to turn back, which we shouldn't, we've got our ILS contingency set up. Right. I think we're ready to push back. We'll get rid of we'll close up our doors. So ground support, we'll close up, make sure we've connected yes we have. We can get rid of views, we'll get rid of our chocks as well. Parking brake is set, that's fine. And we're now going to close and arm the doors. So we'll close up. Technically you're supposed to, this is right, the air stair procedure, right, is the door's actually supposed to be cracked open but not fully closed. You can't close the air stairs while the door's closed. You also can't close the air stairs and then close the door afterwards. The door is weird. So the door must essentially, on like standard procedure on all airplanes, is that a door must not be left open without anything next to it. So without something next to it, whether it's the stairs, a jet bridge or whatever, there must be something at the door. Regardless, this is for obvious reasons, that if something goes catastrophically wrong and someone manages to fall off, well, it's obviously a safety measure. Anyways, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to arm the slides. So as you would in real life. Actually, let me just... Is my controller doing a thing? My controller's doing a thing. Okay, my controller for some reason doesn't want to detect backwards movement. I will be right with you in a second. Okay, that's better. This is what happens when you stream on a cloud stream. You stream already while you're streaming. It's a bit weird. I'll explain that. I use a thing called Shadow. Not sponsored by them. Saves me having to get a gaming PC. Anyways, yeah, we need to arm our slides, right? I've lost my train of thought. Gone off topic. We're gonna close you up. It's still gonna phase through, and we can't phase through. Okay, we'll just go into the cabin and we just arm the slides. So yeah, before you depart on any flight, the cabin crew will always arm slides. Whether that's the captain's command or the cabin crew's command is really down to the airline in itself. But you always arm slides before you depart. At this point, there should be no stairs. The flag should always be on the over the window on the 737. It tells the ground crew, look, if I show you outside now, you can see the flags across the door, which means I'm not to open this. Oh, look at this. Official partner of Manchester City Football Club. Yeah, I definitely designed that. Skytrack Awards and Wi-Fi on board as well. Gotta love it. Right. We'll turn our packs on now. It's definitely been 3 minutes. And set ignition to left. And we'll get the pushback ready to go. Which also means the end of the music now. So you're now going to observe a sterile cockpit. I say sterile cockpit. We'll observe sterile cockpit for as long as we can, really. Let's throttle armed. Transponder to alt off. Everything looks so good. Ooh, nose is raising. 10 minutes behind schedule. That's not too bad. Anti-collision light can come on. And nose to the right, tail to the left. Okay, so we're on the move now. So we're going to turn off our packs now. We're going to wait a bit. We'll start the engines. And yes, I'm going to bump up the sim sounds for you to hear. And I'm going to shut my mouth as well. Just checking the motoring status of the engine. When this comes off, we'll put the fuel in, we'll inject the fuel. Right, so there's our parking brakes set. We'll start engine number 1 now. We'll go outside for this one, so brace your ears. Okay, those are 2 stable engines. Right, let's head upstairs. Generator, switch over to the engine, switch the AP off, engine starts to continuous. Air conditioning packs on, EPU, bleed off. Head down here, reset the fuel flow, blank the DU. And what we'll do as well, for the remainder of the flight, we're going to dim the cabin lights. This saves me from a moment to faff around, but I expect it to be kind of realistic. The players are tired. They're absolutely tired, worn out mentally and physically, especially after that game. As much as I can leave the lights on to terrorise them, no, they do deserve their rest. And short to night sleep, and I've accidentally opened up the storage bins. I'm going to towel one of them off. It's a bit finicky. Get there in the end. And we'll do flaps 5. I've just dropped the sim sounds down. Taxi lights can come off. We're gonna just dim our dome light now as well. I'm just gonna turn my GSX sounds as well, just in case. I'll do a quick taxi briefing. And if I just bring up my charts are open, that's fine. Just to make sure, right, so we're just currently here at the minute. We're going to take, if we can, Lima 1, or if we can make Lima 2, we'll take Lima 2. Let me just head over to my position right now. We'll see if we can make that right hand turn onto Whiskey, right and then left onto Whiskey 1. We'll follow Whiskey 1, Whiskey 33. Can we make that right? No, we'll take the next one. Parking rate release. I'm going to do a config check because it's rising too slowly, but normally you do a config check. So what I'm doing, the way I'd like to taxi, I like to taxi quite slowly, not really exceeding 20 knots, especially near a terminal. Usually don't want to exceed 15 knots near a terminal, but also it just gives you a bit more control. You can assess your surroundings a bit better. When you're straight, so if you know the airport, then I'd say taxi a bit faster. But if you're unfamiliar with the airport, just take your time really. An extra few knots isn't going to hurt anyone. Extra few knots slower. Which in my case, I don't really know Paris Orly too much. Unlike Manchester, I quite know Manchester. Birmingham, I really know the ins and outs of Birmingham. And we're taking Whiskey 33 as our intersection. Whiskey 33. The reason why we're using that one is it's a bit closer to the well, it gives us less runway to work with, but considering how light we are, we can essentially take off from there. So we want to use as little runway as possible, especially when you're so light like this. Just do it, checking our surroundings. Left is clear, right is clear. Get the FO, yeah, right, it's clear. Continue crossing. Flick the strobe lights on just to let people know that, hey, we're crossing an active runway now. This lets other aircraft know that we are on a runway, whether we're, you know, crossing an active runway or we are on an active runway, or even an inactive runway. But in case it's messed up, at least someone knows that, hey, someone's on this runway here. We'll just turn off our strobes now. We'll give the 10. Let's just let the cabin crew know that, you know, we are about to depart. Please take your seats for landing. Just want to make sure that my flight deck doors on auto. This isn't an Airbus. I'm going to take this right here. This is Whiskey 33. Now, this is where you want to kind of be careful. You want to kind of refer yourself. Your charts. If we have messed up, we can always backtrack on the runway. A bit of power just to get moving. Want to make sure that is Whiskey 33, which we can see there, that says 33, so yep, that's fine. Right, we'll get ourselves pretend clear, got clearance, strobe lights on, landing lights on. Based on our weather, we may even turn our anti-ices on. Transponder TARA. We'll turn our anti-ice on very as soon as practical. In fact, I'm going to turn it on now. I don't think it makes a difference to the I think it won't make a difference to runway usage considering how light we are. Not the best lineup, but it will work. It's work for us. Okay, not slightly forward. I'm gonna go 50% M1. And take off power set. Let's make sure M1 is set as well. Left aileron to maintain, left rudder to maintain right centre line, right aileron due to the crosswind.
V1.
Rotate. Oh. Come on. Off the ground. There we go. Positive rate. Gear up. Pitch up to 20 degrees. Do not exceed 20 degrees. Just trimming for nose up. And we'll turn VNAV on immediately. Set speed to 153. We'll hold it there. I didn't set my cutback thrust. Should be okay. So we're climbing at such a slow speed anyways, so just do it manually. So I mean, the plane's in trim, it's not going to go anywhere. But that was a bit of a blunder by myself, but we're still able to maintain the noise profile. Keep maintaining this. I'm going to switch my autopilot on, just to reduce my workload here. Let me get rid of you. And there we go. It's 3,000 feet. We're going to now push our speed up. Did correct it anyways. So we're going to come past transition altitude. And flaps. We'll come up to flaps. Flaps 1. Set speed to the up speed now. Flaps up. Beautiful city Paris is. Absolutely beautiful. I've never been there. Which is one of the few times actually I've not been to a place where my sister has been. My younger sister, she's been Paris before. My mum's been Paris twice. I've never been, and I've flown more than any one of them. So yeah, that's an interesting fact for you. I don't think Disneyland counts as Paris. Anyways, we're above 6,000 feet, so we'll do our after takeoff checklist. So auto brakes, this on, taxi light off, engine start modes 2 off, engine anti-ice off. Cabin crew can begin their service. We'll climb up to 10,000 feet. We'll check our legs page. Do we have any altitude restrictions? We do, but what we'll do is we will I will abide by them. We'll maintain 250 knots as well until we pass this restriction. Oh, we've just shot right past our altitude restriction. Okay, never mind then. Surprised it did that, but maybe I was climbing too fast, but it is what it is. Come up to 24,000 feet, flight of 240, cruise levels 380. Anyways, as we're above 10,000 feet, landing lights can come off, turn-offs can come off, seatbelt signs can come off. Up onto auto, we'll turn our dome light onto dim. Remember, we're doing an RNP approach into Manchester, RNP. So what I'm going to do is going to have some music back on now. I think we're at a safe enough altitude. It's going to turn the sim sounds down as well. We'll just quickly go through our SIDs, or where we are at the minute. We'll just bring this up for you. We'll just say we're going to make a left-hand turn here. From there, we're just basically making a series of left-hand turns all the way up to Atrex. From Atrex, if we have a look at our follow ownership. Oh, we'll keep it in night mode. Night mode looks very messy actually. We'll send this right back to daytime mode. Up to Atrex. And then it's essentially a pretty long flight. We'll be at cruise for a bit, for a minute. Do not get me wrong. It says 18,000. We'll go for an angle bank of 10. We're going to go up to our cruise altitude, 38,000 feet. So whenever you set your cruise altitude on the 737, you do a procedure set once, set twice, set 3 times. Okay, so what we do: set once, auto intervent. Set twice, make sure it's set up here. Set 3 times, make sure it's set on the VNAV page. There we go. Let's make sure our M1 limit, are we climbing at our climbing at our max now. Engine's putting in their max performance, which is good. So we're approaching 20,000 feet, which is wonderful. Right, considering the time and the fact we had a delay, I'm going to do a Tiki direct to Atrex. So we're going to clear ourselves of the SID immediately. So direct to Atrex. Let's go. Yes, it's called a cheeky direct for a reason. But considering the time and considering the delay, we want to do this, shave off some time. So scheduled time of arrival is 1:40, remember. Is it 1:40? Is it 1:14, not 1:40. Our estimated time of arrival is 1:13. We're making time. No, that said, we did depart quite a bit late, but oh well, so we're on our way. We're off on our way to Manchester. Very laid back. So yeah. So if you notice, my overlay is just a bit different. We're using the full answer overlay until I can get to grips with the Project Fly. We've overshot. And the thing is, the one problem with the iFLY is it just tends to overshoot its turns. But the potential of the plane is by far one of the highest. Everything's interactable. Like not even the Phoenix. The Phoenix does simulate operations really good, but I think the iFLY just, it looks the part, it sounds the part, it flies the part. It's really good. It's even got a headphone simulation. If I show you, if we go to panel style, miscellaneous, I'm also going to switch these sun visors to auto. We'll set that. But listen to this. Listen to that. This is what you would hear if you were on an actual flight. We'll switch that off. For now, for the time being. Yeah, flame will get quieter. Some music turned up. If you wonder where I find the music, I just search up copyright free music. I think that's the best way about it. Search up copyright free music, you just have it playing in the background. I think it's always the best way to go about things. Rather than risking it for a biscuit, just go to copyright, just go use non-copyright music, you know? So let's just notice a few things, right? So if you notice here, this is what our fuel quantity gauge is, right? If you notice how the fuel on the left is slightly lower than the fuel on the right, that's not a bug, that's how the 737 works. So when you have the APU, it does use the aircraft's fuel and it uses it from the left wing tank. So yeah, the more you know. Any other quirks of the 737 MAX? I'm not a real pilot yet, but so there's not really many quirks that I really know too much about. Yeah, there's not really too much quirks. As we climb up to our altitude of flight level 380. Oh, this is, yeah, it's disarmed. So 113. So yeah, what we're going to do is, if I've brought this up, hopefully we're able to see the last few things. This would be a stream blunder of mine if I didn't, but we've got to now essentially brief our approach. We're doing it nice and early. So we're going to come through Elvos, down to Trent, Cushi and Dane, right? Flight level 8080 at Dane, 230 knots or below. Now for an RMP approach, we're going to come into Osnap, right? Once we get to here, we need to be at 3,500 feet. And we're going to set our altitude down to 1230, right? So we're going to set our altitude to 1,300 feet. which is where we'll disengage our autopilot, we'll hand fly it onto 2-3 left. Now, looking at 2-3 left, if I just show you, is, oh, hold on a second, there's only one exit point. Yeah, so we want to, essentially, ideally, we want to get to the mid-circle point, right? Mid-turning circle. Otherwise, we're going to have to backtrack the entire runway. Keeps things a bit, so we may got auto brakes, what's that, roughly 2/3 of the runway, so we'll say we'll put in about 2,000 feet for our 2,000 meters, sorry, for our landing runway length. So that could give us a better insight into how fast we'll be on the ground. Local time is 40, so we got roughly 15 minutes, sorry, until we touch down. But our top of descent is actually at 1:45, right? So we've got 30 minutes of cruise. So once we get to our top of climb, we're going to talk about the topic of the day, which is going to be a new thing, part of my channel. Topic of the day is usually something that I found interesting or fun or frustrating, just something to keep something a bit interesting. And for me, topic of the day will be the Man City versus PSG game. So we'll get more onto that later. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. And interesting in the sense that I'm really frustrated with how we played, but again, more on that later. We've got a few flight simmers who are into football. No, Chewy's a Arsenal fan, from what I've heard anyways, if I remember correctly, that is. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what your favourite football team is if you follow one. If we look at other sports, I'm not too big into other sports in the sense that I don't really actively follow them. The only sports I actively follow is football, but at the same time I do keep up with the NBA a little bit, mainly because my brother is a big NBA fan and I want to one-up him because he's my younger brother. But I always kind of have a soft spot for the Hawks because, just turn this down. I always kind of had a soft spot for the Hawks because obviously I used to go to Atlanta pretty much every summer. So yeah, the Hawks was always my team, if that makes sense. I was a Hawks fan. But yeah, it's the same with the NFL Falcons. But here's a fun fact, right? One of the sports that I do actively keep track of and actually take part in as well. It's only one of two sports I take part in and compete in. It's athletics, right? Track and field. Zarnell Hughes, the fastest man in British history, believe it or not, is an avid flight simmer. There's a fun fact for you. He did a post on the X-Plane forums. It's quite interesting. I recommend you take a read. Give it a big read. He actually part of the reason why I got into track in the first place, because I used to do it sports day. I was a very fast kid, still am, but yeah, I was just on the X-Plane forums, probably hoping for some news. It was a very dull time, and I saw it and I was like, hold on, the Olympics are on, and I just watched the 100 meter final. Again, I was big into track. And then I saw him and I was like, you know what, that's a story and a half. Zarnell Hughes is Britain's fastest ever person from Britain, and he's an avid flight simmer, and he's got a private pilot license. And it's just it's a great big inspiration for those who want to get into piloting, want to get into track as well. It brings two unlikely sports close together, which is quite interesting. Although, fun fact as well, if you look at Linford Christie, again, one of the fastest Brits of all time, he was in the Air Cadets. there seems to be like a correlation between, you know, people in aviation and people in athletics. Yeah, that's a bit of interesting trivia for you. So yeah, it's actually quite interesting. But yeah, going into the Man City PSG game, right? So obviously a Man City fan, our season has been shocking, right? We've been poor all season, throwing away leads. So coming into this game, I was a bit nervous, right? We just beat bloody hell, final beat Bayern Munich 3-0. Fair enough. I'll touch on that one next. So PSG, right? Coming into it, we beat Ipswich 6-0. McAtee, was it 6-0? It was 6-0, yeah. Foden scored twice. Haaland, McAtee, and Kovacic. Who else scored? Doku, that's it. So yeah, I was watching that and I was like, we're back. We were not back. I was watching the PSG game, first half, killed us. So Pep brings on, takes off Savinho, he takes off Ruben Dias. Ruben Dias had an injury, brings on Rico Lewis, brings on Grealish, and Grealish scores. I'm like, wow, okay, what a start. And then Haaland scores like 3 minutes later. I'm like, oh my god, right, put this game to bed. In the space of 3 minutes, tell me how they've got the ball in the back of the net, Dembele, and then just a couple minutes later, it's 2-2. Edison, I don't love him. I think he's one of the best keepers, but I think he's got to do better he's got to at least try more with that second goal. It was, yes, the first shot is unsavable, but I think it's the lack of urgency. He just kind of sits down, sticks his arm out and hopes he saves it. I think he may have misjudged it. So that's what makes it 2-2, and I'm like frustrated, but I saw it coming straight away. As soon as PSG scored, Dembele scored the first one, I saw it coming. And then they score again. They score again from a set piece. John Stones comes on, you know, maybe to try and bring something back, and they score literally immediately. He couldn't even do anything. Player who scored was unmarked at the back post. It was that young kid who came from Benfica, João Neves. Ghosted in at the back post, right? Completely unmarked. And I'm sat there, I'm like, you know, one of our defenders' runs was blocked, but he should never be unmarked. And this is when I start to think that you are professional footballers, do better. I play Saturday League, and I understand that the levels between Saturday League and Step 7, Step 8 are a huge, big jump. So I think now these are the best of the best of the best in the world. These are the people who would wipe the floor at these levels. And you're like, do better, please. And then last goal, Cavadio gifted it to him, and Ramos basically put the game to bed. So for me, it's frustrating because, you know, the players just, it's one thing, it's annoying, the players don't seem to play with their heart out anymore, which, you know, you look back in the day, you look at Bernardo Silva, you look at Bernardo Silva would cover miles, he wouldn't put a foot wrong. De Bruyne was De Bruyne, Gundogan likewise. And this is the problem. I think this is one of the big problems with Man City is we're holding on to the players for too long. And when Pep came in, he was ruthless. We need that kind of ruthlessness back from Man City, because the way I see it is that we've got, you get a better view. We've got players, right, who are getting old, their legs are going, which is fine. Like, you know, your legs start to go, that's fine, but in a game like that, you need fresh legs. Fresh legs, and bringing on 34-year-old Gundogan, and I love Gundogan to bits. I think I love him. I love the type of player he is, I love the person he is. He's a brilliant, brilliant player. But bringing him on when we needed legs in midfield, but then you also look at the situation, who else did we have? And this is the problem with Man City, losing Rodri and just not investing in the team. I think poor investments, it's left us like this. Fortunately, we've got two players coming in, Vitor Reis and Abdulkadir Kusanov. I'm really excited to see one of them. You look at Reis, I think it's how you say it. I'm going to call him Vitor. You look at Vitor, right, and you see, you know, he's a bit lanky, Brazilian, looks like he's decent ball playing. We look at Kusana from Uzbekistan, and he, it's like he will rip you apart if you get past him. Like, you are not getting past him. He just looks like one of those defenders. He has that kind of profile about him. So those are two quite interesting players that I find them interesting. Obviously, we've got Omar Marmoush coming in as well from Eintracht Frankfurt. I think I've not really watched too much of him. I may look into him, but his numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. But then you could also say the same thing about Timo Werner. And we all know how he turned out in the Premier League. But then at the same time, because everyone said the same thing about Haaland, everyone wanted to compare Haaland to Werner, and he broke the goal scoring record in his first season. Robbie Jennings, looking at you. So, football's a bit of a weird sport. It's weird as well. Like, for me, you can thrive at one level that's above your current level. Like, you could be struggling at one level, and you go to a higher level and you play better. The perfect example of this is Serge Gnabry. So if you don't know who Serge Gnabry is, he plays for Bayern Munich now, who incidentally lost 3-0, but he was playing for West Brom, and West Brom, if you're not into football, West Brom are not really a very good team. They're in my city where I live, Birmingham. I know quite a few of their fans, but he used to play for them, and he was told that he was not good enough to play for them. Goes to Bayern Munich, won the Champions League with them. Sometimes a step up is better than a step down. I used to play Sunday League, and I was not good at Sunday League. I now play Saturday League, and I may not get the minutes, but I'm still kind of new to the team. They've already gelled. I'm still new. I'm still learning my feet. But I play. I don't think there's been a game where I've not come off the bench, made an impact. It's just down to the level. Like, if you're a Sunday League player who's very rough and tough, physical player, you're always going to struggle against players who are sorry. If you're a technical player like I am, because I'm only 5'6", I'm not very big framed. I'm a very technical player. I've got a few things. I'm very fast, but that's about it. And I'm playing in a physical system where it's just long ball, and I've got to win second balls, win knockdowns, and it's just not me. I'm not that type of player. I can't do that as a player. Like, as much as I back myself as a player, I've just not got the. I just get pushed aside. Like, I'm sorry, but Bold Barry is going to barge me out the way. He's not going to care how I feel. He's just going to barge me out the way. Get up, son. This is real football, lad. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. That's the big step up between Saturday League, Sunday League. That's just one thing to think about when you play football, right? So that's the thing. Like, you can drop down a level and play better. You can drop down level and play worse. Like, believe it or not, I used to play for my I got onto my university futsal team. I didn't stick with them because I had other commitments, but I tried out, got onto them, and let me tell you, futsal is ridiculously hard. If you think football is hard, futsal is unreal. You get the ball and you have less than a split second to make your decision. You have to pass. You can't dribble. You'll be pressed. You'll be pressed out of nowhere. And it's a far more tactical thought than I imagined. So yeah, there's just a bit of interesting trivia. So yeah. Right, I'm gonna brief my descent now. We're about 15 minutes out from our descent, so we're gonna brief our descent. So I mean, it's a very short flight. Again, we're using the RMP approach, right? So when descending into any airport, well, in the 737, this is what I like to do. So We're going to go to legs and we're going to grab our runway, right? Which will be runway 23 left. Right, then the fixed page. Now, we're going to draw 3 rings, right? The first ring will be around about the top of descent, the second ring will be 10 miles out, and the third ring will be 4 miles out. So we'll do our 10-mile range ring, which is the 10-mile range ring, and we'll do our 4-mile range ring. And now we need to know our top of descent range ring. The way you work this out is whatever your altitude is divided by 1,000, which will be 38 times 3, which will be 114, right? If you want to be really specific, you'll add the tailwind, or you'll do this. 114. Now we've got a 30 knot, roughly 30 knot headwind, so we'll minus 3, so which will give us a distance of 111. The reason why we're minusing is because that's to factor in the headwind when I fly a bit closer, right? It's near enough bang on. So that's the proper formula, or you could just write in 114, which is just GI divided by 1,000 times 3. It's about the same. Do you see? I'm going to leave it as 114, that's a bit closer. We don't need to fine tune it. Next we need to figure out our landing weight. This one's quite simple. You just head to the progress page, you look at your current weight, you look at your current fuel, which is 3.7. You look at your landing fuel, which would be 2.8. That means we're going to burn about 0.9 tons of fuel. So we're going to take, this is our current gross weight, so we're going to take away 0.9, which will leave us with 52.2. Now this gives us our VREF speeds. Now I'm going to quickly go into SimBrief to grab a landing performance. I want to use 2,000 feet so I can make that turn. 2,000 meters roughly. We'll go for 90. Ideally I want to make 1,900 meters. So yeah, we're going to do 40 auto brakes 3. That's going to be, we're going to go flaps 40, auto brakes 3. Now again, we're not even an ILS, right? We're RNP. So in order to do an RNP approach, we need to obviously understand that our minimums is different. So our minimums is going to be 680. So we'll just set 680 here. We have no courses that we need to tune up. But actually no, I will tune up. I will tune them up because I'm gonna actually tune up my localizer as a backup approach, right? So we're gonna tune up the localizer approach for 2-3 left as a potential backup. Well, the DME, the VOR DME. Which will be 1355 and 231. So 1355, 231. So 113, 1355 and 1355. So our descent has essentially been planned now. If you have a look, if I turn on my terrain map, you can see exactly where we are. So we're just coming over the coast of we're just over the English Channel right now. It's very, very dark out, if you can see, but you can see the British coastline just coming into view there. There's Lamburn. That's a holding point when you land at Heathrow. If you're coming from this way into Heathrow, you'll hold at Lamburn and then fly into Heathrow. Everything looks all good. We are slugging it along though. 403 knots is our ground speed. We're a bit slow, but no worries. Yeah. We begin our ascent in about 7 minutes. In this meantime, might leave you with a wing view. I'm probably going to go make myself a hot drink. Okay, we're back from our hot drink. Well, for me making, I made a tea. I've gone through a bit of a tea phase recently. I've been having quite a few top of the scents in not long now. Looking at about 7 minutes. Let's open up our charts now. So yeah, we're going to initially descend down to flight level 200. So we're going to punch in flight level 200 here. Let's think about heading to flight level 200. Okay, so it's just a bit of a waiting game now. I think everything looks all good. I'll just quickly do a quick weather check in Manchester. 1002, 2 knots IFR, okay. Things are a bit interesting. Our ceiling's 100 feet, we're fine. I'm gonna set that 1006. So yeah, do look like we'll be descending, well, we'll be descending very soon. Actually, while we're doing this, I'm going to pick up my gate in Manchester, so the plane will descend on its own without my intervention. So I'm going to look at my gate that I want to use. So, one terminal, I may take one of the, one terminal 3. Actually, we'll take terminal. Oh, YouTube ads, gotta love them. We'll take terminal 2 actually. Actually, which do we take 3 or 2? I'm gonna take 2. I know it's a bit of a longer taxi, but we'll say no. The players have coach waiting for them from terminal 2. Yeah, there you go. Lower accurate terminal 2, and we'll take stand 105. We'll take stand 105 gate terminal 2. Wonderful. So we're near our top of the descent. I'm gonna zoom in here now. Okay, so we're nearly 10 miles out from the top of the descent now. We've not got long. I think pretty much everything is set in stone. We could very quickly just go over our plan, make sure there's no discontinuities, but it doesn't look like there is. Well in the keeper. Yeah, it just looks like, yeah, it's a very simple approach. That's 10 miles. When it gets to about 5, we'll begin our descent. I like to begin my descent a bit early, just so the airplane doesn't have to worry about catching up to the descent. And there we go, so we're going to begin our descent now. So altitude intervention. It should descend at 1,000 feet per minute until essentially capture the descent path. So if you notice, this is a way to look at it. This is our descent profile here, and essentially where that diamond is determines we're essentially this white line here. We're also this white line here. That's our descent path. If you notice, it's going above us. That means we're below it, and that's normal. Our descent path's not going to come down until we pass across the top of the descent. But then it's going to come down, and this just allows the plane to kind of already be descending. So rather than you having to descend aggressively from the start, it just allows the plane to ease into the descent. So you can see this will slowly start to shallow off, and then it will start to decrease. So we've crossed our top of descent now, and when this number starts to decrease, it means we're on our descent path. So if you notice the increase, the number of accelerations slowing down, stopped, reversing. So now our descent path's coming down. Let's see if I can show you. Not on this aircraft apparently. That's on the 800 where it'll tell you where you are relative to your descent path. And that's fine. So yeah, we should be landing at 114, so that's roughly 24. Yeah, roughly 28 minutes from 28 minutes. Now, that's a bit of a while for a descent. Let me just get rid of any speed restrictions. Yeah, I want to be at 250, but actually we won't even need to be because of certain waypoints restricting us. There we are. So if you notice now, it's coming back in, and our plane should descend with our descent rate, well, with our target descent rate. There we go. It's idle thrust and nose is pitching down. So yeah, don't worry guys, I will be doing more streams in the morning as well, like in the morning hours. I usually do them at late because everything's kind of done by then. Uh-oh, drop my controller. Okay, nothing's disconnected, nothing's falling apart. Okay, good. Yeah, I do my streams late at night. It's just usually a lot more's done by then, but also as well because it's winter, it's dark around here, usually around about no later than 5. Your day's kind of done by then. So yeah, now if you notice our speed's running away from us, that's fine. We're just monitoring our speed, making sure that, you know, if we do need to decelerate, we'll just whack out the speed brakes and that should slow us down. So yeah, once we get to Welling, we're going to make that right-hand turn. And if you notice, there's Daventry as well, so we're quite near Birmingham, actually. Not City, that is in front of us. Let's see. That city on the front to the left is Coventry. Oof. I'm allowed to say that, I'm from Birmingham. But yeah, no, we're almost in Manchester now. We should be landing very, very soon. I think even at night time it's a magnificent looking sim. During the day it's really unreal, and this is only 2020. 2024 looks even better. Some of my screenshots are from 2024. I've just been so addicted to this airplane that I've not touched 2024 since I got it. It's really been it's a really incredible piece of design that they've done, iFLY. I just think it's incredible. So we're descending nice and steadily. No need for any harsh descents. It's just a very nice steady descent into Manchester. If you notice as well, my speeds are quite low. Look at that, 225. Oh, yeah, it's very slow speeds. It picked 226 as a very efficient speed for us, apparently. Okay, we'll lose our FMS says unless we've been asked to accelerate, but we're descending in really slowly, and this explains our slow descent. Now, if you notice right around Manchester, let me just zoom in. You notice we get close to Manchester, there's a bit of a terrain, right? There's a bit of terrain here. It shows up on our, I don't think it'll show up on our terrain radar, but around about here there's terrain, right? This is the Pennines, it's called. It's a little hill valley kind of range where, yeah, just lots of hills there. It's between Manchester, Leeds and Sheffield. As you're going in that direction up to Yorkshire. So yeah, we've got them, but they're not a big worry. As our next descent after Elvos is Dane, so that's flight level 080. Flight 080 is down to 3,500 feet. So a great question I've got for you guys. Well, I say it's a great question. It's more of a rhetorical question because I'm going to explain the answer to it. But why would Man City hire out Union Airways, right? Why would they do that? Why would they have an official partner when they've already got Etihad? Now stay with me. So my fictional airline wouldn't compete with Etihad in any way, shape or form, especially for Man City, considering that the Etihad fly to routes from Abu Dhabi. Union is a UK-based airline that flies between the UK and lots of other places. Very fictional, not real. I do not have the billions to start an airline, but that's essentially the premise of Union Airways. So now you may be thinking, how can they get a monopoly? Well, if you notice, Man City actually do hire out other airlines to, take the players. Of Jet2, for example, one of them that's done flights for them. It can become quite expensive for the team. So if you have an airline that pays for Man City to have charter flights, right? Stay with me. They pay for Man City to have charter flights. They get revenue just purely because they're a partner airline of Man City. Man City don't pay Man City a penny. The Man City don't pay them a penny. I mean, you've got all your flights paid for every single away game. You've got flights for fans who book tickets. You can do ticket packages for fans. Boom, you've now created business, right, for an airline in the UK that operates solely as Man City's operator. There's a reason why it's a blue colour. There's a reason why there's a B on the tail, and there's a reason why this airplane, I've named it Ardwick. They're all homages to Manchester and Manchester City. Now we could go for a 3 stripes design. Oh, that could be a nice livery actually, 3 stripes on the tail. To symbolise the 3 rivers in Manchester. 3 stripes, a ship and a rose, but no, that's going too much. That's a bit too much detail now, too much taken from Man City. We've got 20 minutes left until landing. So usually you would begin your top of descent 20 minutes out, not already be descending for God knows how long. We're coming in quite slowly into Manchester. Anyways, as we're 3 miles out from Elvas, we're going to now set our descent down to 8,000, fly over 80, sorry. So in 5 minutes, or 15,000 feet, it will definitely be 15,000, for flight level 150, we will switch our seatbelt signs on, and we'll go stereo cockpit at 10,000, so that's when the YouTube music gets turned off. It's been great flying with you guys. You guys is like 2 viewers, but 2 viewers is better than no viewers, right? Love you too. Yeah. So we're about 70 miles out on a nice steady, this is a very, very nice steady descent into Manchester. So yeah, very, very nice. Trent is on its waypoint, and then from Trent we're going to head down to QG and then Dane. Very likely what's going to happen is I'm going to manage the speed once we get below 10,000 feet. I'm going to keep at 230. As a matter of fact, I'm keeping the speed at 230, just for simplicity reasons. Go for 230. It's better than a couple knots. We've just pushed our actually slightly higher. There we go. And now we're descending at a proper rate again. Well, our descent path is catching up to us. So, currently 1 in the morning now. Crazy how quick the time flies. Literally, I've done longer flights than this, so my longest flight in the last year was 14 hours. Not on stream. I've only started streaming this year, but this isn't even on record. I just took a few screenshots, posted in a Facebook group. Bob's your uncle. There we go. We should begin our descent now. Pitching down a bit more. There you go. You can see I'm reducing our throttle. So remember, I'm just going to quickly go back onto my charts. It's flight level 080, and our landing is 1300. You've got to remember, 1300 feet is our LNAV altitude, right? And we can really descend down to 700. That's our minimums. But the last altitude we'd use LNAV is 1300. I'm sure of it. Let's just double check. Yeah, so we last altitude we can use LNAV is 1300. Well, top 30 feet. Once that's done, we've got to head down to 680. And I'll go around altitude 3500. So yeah, we should be okay. We're going to now increase our rate of bank as well to 25, as we're now below 15,000. We're now going to turn on our landing lights too. And we're going to turn on our seatbelt sign. In a few minutes time we'll observe Cerro Cockpit. I'm going to open up my speed window. We're just going to leave it at that for now. We'll drop our flaps when we're a bit closer to the airport. So I was now going to open up our cabin visors, as you would do in real life. The cabin crew would have opened up the cabin blinds. Don't know if I can get a screenshot from here. Not really. We'll find a screenshot. So yeah, got 30 minutes to go. It's not long left. So we're just waiting until 10,000 feet and then we'll observe stereo cockpit. In fact, we'll observe stereo cockpit now, so this just basically means I'm going to turn off the music. We're going to say cabin crew 10 minutes to landing. So let them know that the cockpit's now stereo. And we're going to do our final landing preparations. We break off. We're actually going to we're going to break off from Dane proceeding direct to OSNAP. Descend down to 3,500 feet. And because we're descending down to an altitude, we're now going to switch over to barrel. Round profile, that's good. And we're going to go flaps 5. And turn the sounds for you. And remember, we are stand 103. So we're just going to grab that. And then we're going to go flaps 2 as well. Sync up our heading because we've not done that yet. You've only got 7 minutes to go, 7.5 minutes to go. It just goes to show that, you know, well, it only tells us that we've not got long left. The temperature is 1 degree, so if we do fall into cloud, we will switch on our anti-ice, but it doesn't look like we will. I'm also going to now dim the dome light. We'll wait until 20 miles to begin our deceleration to 200 knots. It's a bit foggy. Just check our wing. Yeah, it looks alright. And we'll begin our descent now. Deceleration down to 200 knots. Another Pro Peeps on auto, we'll switch the motor on. And our final approach speed is 127 knots. Auto brakes 3. Everything looks all set. turn on our runway turn-offs as well. Oh. There we go, they're in clouds, so we're just going to turn on our anti-ice and switch those over to continuous. Get that wind cloud because they're scattering from the lights. Reduce speed now to 180 knots. It's how you know we're heavy, we can maintain 180 below flaps 5. It's going to get some speed brakes out. Just to add a bit of drag, and we're also going to go flaps 5. The speed brakes are now armed. It's at 1300 feet.
$2,500.
Set at 231 we'll set. Runway QDM is actually where is it? Runway QDM is 231. Which 1300 is set. And there we go, we're on our final descent now.
$2,500.
And 27 is our final approach speed, so we'll go on 62.5. Set this down to 700 as well. I'll switch on my taxi light too also. Wonderful, right. Cabin crew seats for landing. Flaps 15 speed is 200, we're below that, so we'll go get down flaps 15 in a sec. We'll do it now. Flaps 25 is below 190, flaps 30 is below 175, flaps 40 is below 166, which we are. So speed brakes armed, landing gears down, and 3 greens, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, flaps set 40, yeah, before landing checklist complete. We can't see the runway, but that's fine. bit closer.
1,000.
1,000 feet stabilized, and missed approach altitude is expected to be 3,500, so we're going to set that. If we do happen to miss approach. Can see the runway lights. So 3,500 feet.
500.
Flight directors off. Auto throttle off.
400.
My airplane.
Approaching minimums. 300. Minimums.
Continue. Oh, it's close, but we can see the runway lights, and that's all we really need as indication.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Check.
10.
Close. Hold the attitude. Come on, get down. Bit firm. Doesn't matter, auto brake's full. Wow, we probably should have went around there and took the ILS, but I could see the runway lights. We use low visibility taxi procedure, so we'll just taxi straight. We're near our mid-turning circle anyways. Because we can't see anything, I can't tell where it is. Have we taxied past it? I think we may have. Yeah, we definitely have taxied past it. Oh boy. Okay. The lack of taxi lights is really disorienting. This is the airport having no taxi lights there. That is disorienting as it can be, really. We'll just use very slow. We'll just use a very slow taxi back to the gate then. Then lights off, which is going to be very, very dim. There's not even any taxiway lines. Okay, it's a bit poor. The reason why I left the strobe lights on is because I'm re-entering the runway. We're going to make a left-hand turn and we're going to just backtrack the runway. Now when you're backtracking, the fastest you can taxi is actually 50 knots, so do with that as you will. I know the visibility is low, but I am getting back to the gate. Right, since we're backtracking, I'm going to actually set the line lights to flash. So we're going to take Victor Delta and then Papa. See, look, this taxiway here is highlighted, which is fine, but I couldn't see where I was going essentially. Right, we're taking Papa now, so we're going to switch off our landing lights and we're going to switch transponder to so we're now going to take Papa. Switch off my strobe lights as well. Papa isn't the first left or the second left. No, it's the second left. So second left, Delta Zulu, then Papa. I was going to turn on my don't like to dim. Get some life in it, you know? As we're now crossing an active runway, we're going to turn on our strobes. Right, it's clear, we check left. Left looks clear. Right, we're going to taxi quite slow around this. We're going to take Papa. We're going to follow Papa all the way to the top, basically. I'm going to take this taxiway here. Right, so from here we're going to take, I'm going to follow Echo. We're just basically going to follow Echo. We'll take Zulu Blue actually. So this is how you can tell we're really light, because we are taxiing on idle thrust. We're taxiing on idle thrust and it's just going. Let's capture some screenshots as well. Right, so we're coming over to the terminal now. I'm going to start our APU. We'll just take this sensor on here. So gate 103. Come on, 11. 9. Oh, 5. 103. Just trying to get a nice little dock in. It might be a bit wonky, but well's at the gate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Manchester. Local time is, yes, I know we're too far, but oh wells. Welcome to Manchester. Local time is 1:30. Cabin crew, disarm, slides, and cross check. So again, we'll get some lights on. Hopefully not press a button in here. Oh, there we go. In fact, say open the window shade. Right, wonderful. Bolt zones. There we go. Get them flags off. Get them flags off at the front. Get the flags off at the back. We'll turn the beacon lights off in a second. Go, beacon light can come off, seatbelt sign can come off. Yep, we'll open up the cabin door, the flight deck door. We'll get jet bridge. While we're doing that, we'll get our chocks, we'll get our APU disconnected. It's a bit wonky. Like, to be fair, if you can make that jump, it's a hazard, but you can make that jump. Okay, wonderful. Now, probes can come auto, window heats can come off. We'll take this aircraft out of service, so we're going to do our, we're going to get the aircraft deboarded, and then we'll take the aircraft out of service. So over here we're going to set 2000 standby. 2000 standby, set our down to transition altitude plus 100 feet. 231 can be set, that's fine. Fly directors are off anyways, speed set to 100. Notes auto brakes to off, engine mode selectors back to where they belong. We'll get we'll turn off our fuel pumps, we don't need you anymore. And we'll turn off our electronic hydraulic pumps. And I'm going to be a nice pilot and say goodbye to everyone who is definitely not in fucking pep. Okay, what's going on? Maybe due to my view. Just being a bit all over the place. Definitely a texture issue because the passengers are appearing really dark. And oh, look here, you can't really see. Okay, you can see here, but it's really dark. Like, I think the side lighting, the lack of side lighting, does have an effect. But here, like, the claw's not very reflective. The model's not really reflective of any light at all. So the camera crew just looks really dark. Like the entire model in general, it's more like a silhouette. Let's see if this has anything to do with my dome light being switched over to bright. Maybe turn my work light on. Let's try that. Does that make an effect? Nope. It's rather uncanny. That's also rather uncanny how they're phasing through the cabin. Anyways. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing another flight tonight, so we'll wrap it up. This one we'll finish off our deplaning, and then we'll wrap this flight up. Just go through the statistics. So we had a block time 1 hour 39, and then air time of 1 hour and 13 minutes. We covered 408 nautical miles, burning 2.5 tons of fuel, according to Volanta anyways. Landing rate was about 216 feet per minute, minus 216. Yeah, that inbound taxi definitely did cost us a lot of time, but all in all, it was a fairly solid flight actually. I'll see where I want to go next. It may be a bit random. I may do real world operations. I'm not too sure, but yeah. See you guys on the next flight, and I hope you enjoyed watching this stream. Ta-ta.